It feels like our whole generation is cooked. Everybody's looking for approval from the older generation that didn't really pass down any wisdom. I fear that the American complex found a way to psyop our parents' generation into thinking a home loan and a college degree was all that was that was the sole meaning of life. That was the sole meaning of our entire existence. And I'm realizing now, especially as I get older, is a lot of the success in my life, or a lot of times where I feel like I'm in flow or I have momentum and I can see myself tangibly taking steps towards my goals and making real progress and accomplishing things, is all due to the feedback loops that I get, right? If I call my family that does not understand my business or my goals or anything that I'm doing, and I try to explain it to them, they will almost try to talk you out of it. They'll try to say, oh, well, those are goals for you, and, that it doesn't make sense to me, and that's okay, but, it's just like, kind of relax. You don't need that much cash. You don't need to live a lifestyle the way you talk about. You don't need to live the life that you dream of. It's okay. Like, you have enough. Just relax. Whereas if I go talk to mentors of mine who have 10 times what I have or 100 times what I have, all of them say the same thing. Yep, keep going. Keep going. Yeah, hell yeah, you're killing it. You're on the path. You're on the path. Like, I'll probably throw it up on the screen. I had, last Friday, I had a deal randomly out of nowhere kind of fall in my lap. Somebody reached out to me and said, hey, can you sell this property for me? I said, hey, no problem. I made a couple phone calls and I made $4,000 on the deal. I got it under contract, 108,000. I sold it for 112, and the deal closed the next subsequent Friday. And so in literally 7 days, I made like 4 Gs off of 2 phone calls. And I sent that to a mentor of mine, a friend of mine, who does multiple 7 figures a month. And I texted it to him just as a joke, like, yo, like free 4,000. And he shot me back a screenshot of his shit, and he's like, hey, 40,000 bucks in the last hour. And you just realize there's other playing fields. There's always levels to the game. But the thing is, if I were to call anybody in my family or anybody I grew up with and say, oh my God, I sniped a quick 4 Gs on 2 phone calls, they'd all be like, bro, that's fucking crazy. You're killing it. You really destroyed the game. And that's the problem, is people are taking feedback from people they do not want to switch lives with. Like for the majority of you, if I asked you, hey, 30, 40 years from now, your life will look exactly like your parents, would that be a satisfying thing to hear? Would you be happy to hear that? For the majority of you, it's no. The majority of you don't want loveless marriages and dead-end jobs and divorces and fucking financial hardships and not having enough time for your kids because you're focused on paying the bills. Majority of you don't want that. Majority of you do want a real life. But the thing is, a lot of people are sleepwalking towards their parents' lives because their feedback loop, their number one mentor, is their mother and father. And a lot of people, it takes them too long to realize their parents' goal is to keep them safe. Their parents' goal is to keep their child safe, right? So when I started my business, my family said, don't do it. Going into business for yourself is risky. They labeled all these lack limitations. It's risky. It's feast or famine. Throw in the comments. I'm sure you guys, if you guys are entrepreneurs, I'm sure you guys have heard a million fucking things along these lines. Oh my God, it's ups and it's downs. It's crazy. It's like lawsuits and there's all these things. And then you get into the world of business and you're like, wow, if I just do the fucking task I'm supposed to do, I make money and I'm able to live my life. Like, there's not all this crazy shit everybody talked about. Like, huh. And I get that I'm in a very micro niche industry with a very niche business that doesn't really require a lot of overhead, and so I understand that I'm nimble enough to not necessarily feel a lot of the repercussions that people have if they have overhead and a shit ton of employees, which I feel for you. But the whole moral of this entire story is, if all your feedback comes from your family, or comes from your friends, or comes from people that are at the same level or below you in lifestyle goals. I'm not even going to say money, because a lot of people would take it if I said, oh my God, people who make less money than you, and they're going to say, oh my God, you're saying if they make less money than you, they're worth less as people. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, look at the people that you get the most amount of feedback from. Would you trade lives with them at their age? Would you want to be your mother? If your mother's 50 right now, she's giving you advice, women out there. Would you want to be your mother? Would you want to have your mother's relationship history? Would you want to have your mother's job? Would you want to have your mother's lifestyle? Would you want to look like your mother, right? Or men, if your father's telling you, hey, just take that safe job, take that 70K a year, get yourself an apartment, settle down, get you a girl. Look at your father. Is that a man you respect? Is that a man you want to be when 50 calls your name? Is that who you want to be? And if the answer is no, then fucking you gotta let it go with love. Like, I still get feedback from people that feel like they need to give me their opinions, and I just smile and I nod and I say thank you. I love you, I appreciate it, and I just keep moving forward, because I realize if you want to go after something in life, you want to actually go for what you want, you're going to be counterculture. You're going to be the 1%. You're going to be going against the current. 99% of people are walking dead. 99% of people are fucking asleep at the wheel. I remember when I was in college, my first semester, I went to one semester of college online during COVID. I remember during the one semester, I was traveling for modeling, and I looked up and I was like, I'm like cheating on my homework, and the whole goal is like an entrepreneurship degree, but I'm getting an entrepreneurship degree from a guy who never ran a business. He's the business professor, and I'm taking science and all this extra shit. I'm taking English. I'm taking all this dumb shit that's not gonna help me run a business in the future just to get credits, and I'm paying fucking $1,200 for these credits, and like, what the fuck? And they're giving me loans for this, but they're not gonna give me loans to go start a business, or they're not gonna give me loans to go fucking buy Bitcoin or anything. And I'm like, oh, I get it now. There's a trap. It's a trap to keep you ensnared. Is like, they're trying to limit your freedom. The system wants to limit your freedom. It says, hey, you're 18, take on $60K in student loans. Okay? Oh, you graduated, take that $60K at your job because you're going to have student loan payments. You see, it keeps you in a box. You know, and like, oh, you have a girlfriend now that you met at college, right? And she fucked around in her sorority, and, you know, maybe she stayed loyal to you, maybe she didn't. But the whole truth of the matter is, that's your girl now. That's the rest of your life. You're not going to grow at all as a person. You know, you're 22 now. She's 22, she's 21, whatever. That's your girl. By the time you're 27, you could be a completely different person, have completely different taste in women, but, you know, you made that choice. You're married to her now. And so by the time you fucking fall through society's fucking storm, they say is, hey, go into debt, go to school, go into debt. Go get yourself a house, because you don't want to rent. Renting's wasting money. So go buy a house, put $20,000 down on some shitbox house that just got manufactured by a bunch of fucking immigrants that's going to fall apart in 5 years when it gets too windy. Right? Let's start with there. So you got student loans, you got a mortgage. Now you can't be driving around the hoopty your mother gave you. That's fucking embarrassing. You're winning now. You make $60K a year as an analyst at some fucking software company. So now we got to get you a new car loan, right? So let's get you that car note. Oh, you also want to fucking go out and drink because you hate your life, so you got to fucking party a bit. Come on, live it up, guys. So you got to rack up those bar tabs. And all of a sudden, your $60,000 a month, that comes down to $5,000, or your $60,000 a year, that boils down to $5,000 a month gross before taxes. You end up with like $3,800, $4,000, whatever at the end of the month. It's all gone because you got to pay your fucking student loans, you got to pay your mortgage, you got to pay to eat, you got to pay to clothe yourself, you got to pay to eat, you got to pay for that car note, you got to pay for that house note, you got to fucking go to the bar to drown out your sorrows, and you got to put food in the fridge. So all your money's gone. And but don't worry, just do that for 40 years, and you'll figure it out. You'll be just like your parents, right? You'll have a house that's paid off. You have a car that's paid off. You understand? You'll have friends. You'll have great friends that did nothing with their lives either. And you'll get to look around and go, wow, I'm just like my parents. Is that what you guys want? I have too many friends of mine that I see so much potential in. These guys are fucking former athletes. These guys are beasts. These guys can put up 315 pounds on a bench press like it's fucking nothing. These guys are dogs. If anybody raised a hand to them, they beat the fuck out of them. But then their parents say, hey, go take this job for $65K. And they go, yep, I'm going to listen to him. The system is just patting you on the head saying, hey, you're a good boy, you're a good boy, you're a good boy. But the thing is, like, you know when they tell a dog that he's a good boy the most? When they're fucking putting him down. That's what's happening. A lot of young men don't tap into any level of masculinity. They have no desire to go conquer or go even see the world. They don't want to wake up and fucking go, hey, dude, fuck it, it's a Tuesday. Let's go to Thailand. I need to see what's over there. No, let's not do that. Let's just stay in fucking gray Indianapolis for the rest of our lives. You know, it's like, I was in Miami for a month, and I was like, fuck it, let me go back to Indianapolis for a bit, because that's where I'm from. So I fly back there. I have a house there. And I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. I get there on a Thursday. It's gray. By the time it was Monday morning, I was already on a flight back out to Miami. Look at Miami right now. I don't know if you can see, but it's sunny as fuck. Because I've just realized, like, sun is definitely one of the keys to happiness, one of the pillars to mental health. And so, but I have freedom to be able to do that. I can pay my rent at my other house. I can pay for an Airbnb, and I can fucking fly out here, and it's nothing. I can live my life because I chose freedom. When I started my business, everybody told me, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Go to school, take that steady job. But guess what? Our parents don't understand the new world. Does your mother understand that fucking Bad Baby made $52 million in 1 year shaking her ass on camera? No, they don't. They cannot comprehend that. You know what I mean? Like, your mother and father's most successful friend makes fucking $300,000 a year and has a lake house. Like, that's just not even inspiring. And if your whole goal is to live up to somebody else's expectations that never ended up doing anything with their lives, then guess what? That's going to be your life. And so today's kind of a more aggressive video because I feel like we're not getting through to people enough. And maybe this is just the way it is. Maybe a few select people wake up and realize, hey man, nobody is coming to save me. Nobody is going to buy me the fucking Lambo I want. Nobody is going to hand deliver me my perfect bride. You know what I mean? Nobody is going to give me freedom. It's a matrix, man. It really is a fucking matrix. There really is a world out there that does try to trap you and make you conform. And a lot of you guys are just walking directly into it. You guys are asleep. I need you guys to wake up. Let this be a video to just ask yourself a question. Do I want to be like the people I'm taking advice from? And if the answer is no, then start to fucking learn how to listen to your intuition. Start to pray. Start to try to get in touch with God or some kind of a higher force to be able to have access to wisdom that isn't necessarily from the past generations that didn't make it to where you want to go. All right, so that's the end. I love you guys. Peace.